Hello there, friends. So, welcome to the Monday night support for parents group. Now, this is open to anyone at all. Every Monday night at 8:30. If you need a little bit of support, ideas with any parenting issues at all, pop on here. When no one's here, I'm going to just record little lessons about bullying from the No Such Thing as a Bully book. This smaller one is meant for parents, and the idea is that these strengthening tools are learned by you and then taught to your children. And so I'm just going to start these meetings by straight up going through the book from start to finish, however long that takes. When someone pops on and they have specific questions or specific things that they want to talk about, we will talk about that. And otherwise, if I'm online 8:30 Monday night and no one else is here, I'm going to record these little videos and put them up for anyone to watch. So, starting from the beginning of No Such Thing as a Bully, I first want you to know that this is about so much more than just bullying. This really is about strengthening. None of the book uses the terms bully or victim as labels. I say we all use bully actions, we all use victim responses. One set of skills solves both. And that is proven to me over and over again when I speak to groups of people and I start out by saying, who in here is a bully? And nobody will point at themselves generally, sometimes, but not usually. They'll laugh, they'll giggle, they'll point at someone else. But oftentimes we don't see ourselves as a bully. And so I say, who in here is a bully? And then I start asking these questions. Who has ever called someone a name? Who has ever talked behind someone's back? Who has ever left someone out on purpose? Who has ever physically hurt someone? Who has ever emotionally hurt someone? And boom, 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 the hands go up because we've all done those things. That's the point. We all use bully actions. We all use victim responses. We don't call ourselves bullies all the time. We don't call ourselves victims all the time, but we use those ways of behaving. A victim response is something like, just really feeling like there's nothing I can do about this. I'm in the worst situation. It's not my fault, and there's nothing I can do about it. In any situation, there's something you can do about it, something you can learn or something you can do to strengthen yourself. So when we tell a child you're a bully or you're a victim, we increase the chances that that behavior will continue because the child begins to see themselves like that as a victim or as a bully. When we talk about bullies and victims, we also minimize the role of the bystander because oftentimes the bystander role plays right into the syndrome of bullying and strengthens it and enables it to keep on going. So when our children are small, there is just an abundance of teaching opportunities to point out to them when they're using bully actions or when they're using victim responses, or to give them a tool for balanced thinking, or to coach them on how to manage anxiety, or to teach them how to calm their fight, flight, freeze response. All of those things are abundant in childhood. And when you start thinking in this way, you will see the opportunities that you have to really teach your children well. So the goals for parents with this little book for parents is really to understand the dynamics and the outcomes of bullying, to move from seeing your child in a certain way, maybe seeing them as a bully or seeing them as a victim, to really understanding these are just patterns of behavior and they can be changed. We want to learn how to strengthen bystander children. So some children don't frequently use bully actions or victim responses, but all children are bystanders. And so the stronger they are to be able to see and determine bully actions, the better they are equipped to step in and do something about what they see. We want to have a goal of learning how to use the tools that are provided within No Such Thing as a Bully. We want to give you opportunity to change thinking patterns, to increase self-confidence, and then to transfer that knowledge to your children. Bullying isn't only in schools. It doesn't only happen with kids. We know that there's all kinds of situations where there's workplace conflicts that could be called bullying, interfamily conflicts that could be called bullying. The basics of the behaviors and the way that you're going to solve them are the same, whether it's schoolyard bullying or whether it's workplace or whether it's home. And so we want to really have the goal of teaching you to use these ideas and these tools to really be able to approach bullying situations. So within the No Such Thing as a Bully system, there is a completely different definition for bullying than you've ever seen before. And it's set up in equation form. So the idea of that is because when you create an equation, if you change one part of that equation, you change the whole thing. And so it's the same with bullying. The definition of bullying that I use in the No Such Thing as a Bully system says there needs to be someone in the equation who has a high bullying value frame of reference. And so that is somebody who has a desire to hurt. They have superior power and enjoyment. They have a desire for control, and they have a contempt for the other person. There needs to be an action that's hurtful and that is repeated. And then there needs to be another element of a high person with a high victim response frame of reference. So this is somebody who's vulnerable, who's really experiencing a sense of oppression and a sense of unjust treatment, feeling like they can't do anything about it. Now, the dynamics of bullying, the way that it's shown is still the same. It might be physical, it might be verbal, might be social, could be cyberbullying, could be sexual bullying. That remains the same. But when we start looking at the person with the high bullying value frame of reference, the action, and the person with the high victim response frame of reference, it becomes a situation where we can work on any three of those dynamics to make a change. We don't just need to look at the kid that we had in the past called a bully and say, oh, we need to change and fix the bully. We can take the kid who has been harmed and say, we're going to strengthen you and we're going to make it so that this doesn't happen to you again. And we're going to teach you balanced thinking so that when you hear words like you're so fat or you're so ugly, you don't take that on yourself. You recognize that doesn't belong to me. That is not mine. And so all of these tools are found within the No Such Thing as a Bully system. And this is going to be much of what we go over in these following weeks. And again, I'm going to just post these publicly so that anybody who really needs this help can grab it. So to finish off this small video, we're going to talk about recognizing the signs of children who are experiencing bullying, and also recognizing the signs of children who are using bully actions. And so children who are experiencing bullying, they might be afraid of how they're going to get to school. They might be super hyper cautious about what they're experiencing and how to keep themselves safe. They might indicate that they want to make changes to their schedule. They might become afraid to go to school entirely. You might see mysterious pains and an undiagnosed illness and be like, kid, you're not even sick. But what's happening is that stress actually comes to feel like physical illness. You might see lower grades and schoolwork suffering, a sense of an appearance of your child being less confident than they usually are. They might withdraw or feel anxious. They might become aggressive with other children. So you might see them being like, hey, I'm being mistreated here, so I'm going to dole it out as well. You could see changes in appetite. They might have bruises or cuts or scratches that they just don't really explain. I fell down on the playground. They might have property that is missing or that's ruined. They could give excuses that don't really make sense, that you kind of like go, well, I don't understand what's going on. They might act secretively or begin stealing. And that's often a sign that someone is asking them for something or demanding something from them that they don't have. So they're going to steal it and give it to this person that's making those demands. You might see really negative mood changes when they've been online or on their cell phone. And that is something to really ask about, what's going on online. A lot of times as adults, we really don't have a sense of what children are experiencing online. Children who are bullying and using bully actions, they might be talking negatively and derogatorily about their peers. They might just freely use negative labels. That kid's a retard. That's so gay, and you might see that just really coming out loosely and contemptuously in their conversation. They might portray themselves as a victim when their behavior is confronted, and they might blame the other child. Well, he's so annoying. They might not see the need to apologize for their behavior. And you might see them showing contempt for other children. They might act differently in front of adults than they do in front of peers. They could have low levels of empathy and really high or really low self-esteem. That can go either way. They may have a role model who acts aggressively, and they might have experienced bullying actions against them, either at home or at school. Children who are bystanders might try to distance themselves from what's going on. Well, that's not about me. I got nothing to do with that. They could be fearful of the child using bully actions. They might try to stay friends with that child, and really keep trying to stay on the right side of that kid. They might talk about conflict between their peers with you. And that's an opportunity to step in and have a conversation. They're likely to try to figure out how to handle the situation without adult intervention. Kids will tend to ask for help with things 3 times. And when they don't get the kind of help they're looking for, they will often just figure out how to handle it themselves. They could be afraid of the reaction of the child who's using bully actions if they stand up for the other child. They might be open to strong leadership in the area of bullying. So these are the kids who are like, yeah, let's get somebody into our school, or let's find a way within our school to deal with this. And they will be very well placed to use bully proofing tools within their school and community. Before I sign off, I just want to talk about, I just reread the book Blubber by Judy Blume, which is about a group of grade 5 girls. And it's brutal. It is. I remember reading it when I was a kid, and I saw it at the library the other day, and I was like, I'm going to check this out again and see what it's like reading this with an adult point of view and the point of view of having done all this work. And there are scenes in there, that I remember just feeling gutted when I read when I was young. And I felt the exact same way. And I just really want to recommend that as a very strong book to open up discussion with girls, probably grades 4 to about grade 6, even grade 7. If you know about that book, you'll know that it's like 30 or 40 or however many years old. I'm going to go with at least 40 because I'm 53, and I think that I was maybe 10 or 11 when I read it. It's a strong book. It is a strong book to open up discussion about bullying. And I, just really, if you're looking for a way to start that conversation, grab that book, read it yourself. If your child doesn't want to read it, talk to them about you reading it and what's in it. And that's a good way to just kind of get that conversation going. Next Monday, I'm going to do a recording that talks about approaching your child and different ways to approach your child. So using a book is one way, but I'm going to give you a whole bunch of other ways to approach your child next Monday as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I appreciate you. I appreciate your desire to make things better in the world. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.